Is he actually a victim? I do not think so. It is very difficult for many people who live through the pain, fear, and destruction in the Southeast to see him as a victim. This is a man who openly ordered his foot soldiers to unleash hell in the Southeast, and those words were not empty. They were followed by actions that brought suffering to innocent people across Igbo land. Sit-at-home was ordered, and it was enforced with violence. People were attacked simply for trying to live normal lives. Houses were burned down, shops were destroyed, and vehicles were set on fire without pity. Many families lost everything they had worked for over many years in just one day. For a long time, fear became part of daily life in many communities. People could not move freely. Traders were afraid to open their shops. Children stayed at home instead of going to school. Farmers could not go to their farms, and transporters avoided the roads. On sit-at-home days, the entire region became quiet, not because people supported it willingly, but because they were afraid of the consequences. Anyone who disobeyed was seen as an enemy and punished severely. This fear was created and sustained by repeated violent actions carried out by armed boys who claimed they were enforcing orders. For over 5 years, Cubana Chief Priest, a popular social media billionaire from Umuhu in Osu local government of Imo State, could not visit his own hometown. This was not because he abandoned his root or forgot where he came from. It was because insecurity had taken over the area. His village, like many other villages in Osu and Olu zone, was no longer safe. The activities of indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, and Eastern Security Network, ESN, turned the area into a place of fear. The village was deserted for years. Homes were abandoned. Businesses were shut down and normal lives completely stopped. What should have been a peaceful community became a ghost town. These armed boys took over entire villages and communities. They moved freely with weapons, while innocent people hid in fear. Many people were attacked, killed during this period. Some were accused of being saboteurs, others of working with the government, while some were simply unlucky to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. People were killed for opening their shops, for driving on the roads, or for refusing to obey sit-at-home orders. Families lost fathers, mothers, sons, and daughters. These deaths were not rumors or propaganda. They were real, painful losses that are still remembered today. People's source of livelihood were destroyed without mercy. Shops that took years to build were burned within minutes. Vehicles bought through hard work and loans were set on fire. Houses that sheltered entire families were destroyed. Many people were pushed into poverty overnight. Today, some of them have not recovered. These acts were carried out in the name of struggle that claimed to be for the good of Igbo people. Yet the same Igbo people suffered the most. It is important to ask why many people refuse to talk about these things. Why is there silence around the sufferings of innocent people? Why do some people believe that Nnamdi Kanu should not be held accountable for these actions? Is it because he speaks passionately? Is it because he presents himself as a freedom fighter? Or is it because people have chosen to ignore the pain of their fellow brothers and sisters? True justice cannot be selective. It cannot be ignored. The cries of victims while praising the voice of a leader. Leadership comes with responsibility. When a leader gives instructions and those instructions led to violent destruction and loss of lives, that leader cannot deny responsibility. The boys who carried out these attacks did not act on their own. They acted under a name, under a cause, and under a leadership they believed in. They believed they were defending a struggle and obeying orders. A leader who enjoys loyalty, praises, and support must also take responsibility when things go wrong. Some people argue that Nnamdi Kanu is being persecuted. Others say he is a victim of injustice. But can anyone truly talk about the victimhood without remembering the real victims in Igbo land? What about the traders whose shops were burnt? What about the drivers whose vehicles were destroyed? What about the families who lost loved ones? What about the villages that were turned into ghost towns for many years? Do their lives and sufferings not matter? No mercy did not return to these areas by accident. It returned through the effort of security agencies and the corporations of the local villagers who were tired of living in fear. Communities had reached their limit. People wanted peace. They wanted to go back to their farms and businesses. They wanted their children to return to school and their town to come back to life. It took courage for villagers to stand up and say they wanted peace, even when it was difficult. Whether anybody likes it or not, the truth remains that Nnamdi Kanu must be held accountable for the atrocities committed in Igbo land by a group of people he leads. Accountability does not mean hatred. It does not mean oppression. It simply means justice. It means answering hard questions and acknowledging the pain caused. No cause, no matter how emotional or popular, gives anyone the right to destroy lives and property. The idea that someone can give order and they deny responsibility when those orders leads to violence is dangerous. It sends a wrong message to young people and to the society. It suggests that violence has no consequences and that victims do not matter. These kinds of thinking only create more chaos, more anger, and more suffering. Igbo land has suffered enough. Our people are hardworking and peace-loving. We value community, progress, and lives. Anything that brings destruction to our land, no matter how it is presented, must be questioned and condemned. Keeping silent in the face of such suffering does not help the Igbo land or Igbo people. It only deepens the wounds. This is not about personal hatred or political rivalry. It is about truth, responsibility, and justice. It is about remembering villages that were deserted, businesses that were destroyed, and lives that were lost. Calling someone a victim without addressing these realities is unfair to those who suffered. History will remember what happened. It will remember who spoke the truth and who remained silent. It will remember who suffered and why they suffered. The truth may be uncomfortable, but it cannot be hidden forever. Justice must apply to everyone, no matter how powerful or popular. Only then can a real healing and lasting peace return to Igbo land.